Good morning, everybody. This morning, we'll be taking a look at the reading paper, Part A. Before I go into the questions and talk about the answers, I would like to show you just how we take a very quick look at the text in like a couple of minutes or maybe 3 minutes, and then we can already get the main ideas. And then we can also see where different kinds of information are. So let's get started. Now, take a look at the title, They Lied. Bolivia's untouchable Amazonian lands at risk once more. Now, just from this very simple title, you can already see a lot of information, get a lot of key details there. So they lied. Who lied to who? What was the lie about? Now, we'll find out later. But we know, there's a lie there. And then Bolivia's untouchable Amazonian lands at risk once more. Now, Bolivia, the name of a place, of a country in South America. This you may not know, but I'm sure many of you have heard of the Amazon rainforest. You will also, see that later on in the passage. And untouchable. Now, again, you may not have seen this word before, but I think that you can guess that this word means something that you cannot touch. Untouchable Amazonian lands at risk, facing danger, once more. Now, just from this second line of the title, you can already guess that, well, maybe this is what the lie was about. People said that they would protect it, but they didn't. Or they didn't keep the promise. So we're going to find out and confirm later as we read on. And then very quickly, if you look at the first paragraph, you see that they say in 2011, the Bolivian government declared the Amazon forest untouchable. So they, this is to say that they're trying to protect it. They're trying to try not to change the place. Paragraph 2, look at the first sentence. That year, thousands of local people marched for nearly 2 months to the Bolivian capital, La Paz, protesting over the route that would have cut through the heart of the park. So you see that the local people are trying to protect the place. And then they're talking about a route that will cut through the heart of the park. So this is all also mentioned in paragraph 1 there. Then, however, 6 years later, the Bolivian government has backtracked. Now, in between the second and the third paragraph, one reasonable guess would be that the people protested and the government gave in, the government accepted, what they were trying to fight for. But then 6 years later, in 2017, the Bolivian government has backtracked, meaning they no longer wanted to keep the promise. They try to abandon what they once said. So they changed their mind. They no longer wanted to protect the place. Paragraph 4, Teco is a small-time farmer of cacao, the beans of which are used to make chocolate. Now, this is a kind of a more fragmented, like you can say, a paragraph which does not carry a lot of information. They're just taking you through an example, or taking you through a person that can show what the general situation is like. Paragraph 5, covering an area of 1.2 million hectares, Tipnitz is home to nearly 14,000 residents, mainly indigenous people belonging to various tribes and groups. 'So Tipnitz is probably the place that we're talking about the local people tried to protect, and also the government, lied about. So they're talking about the place. Paragraph 6, the park's heartland, where the plant road will run, is special to many indigenous groups, as it is where the animals take shelter during the rainy season, blah, blah, blah. Now, it's always challenging to have such a long sentence at the beginning of a paragraph. What we can do, though, is, just read through this pretty quickly and grab the main ideas there. So now we can confirm that, okay, we're talking about a kind of a forest, a natural sort of place. People try to protect it by stopping the government from building a kind of road or highway that runs through it. I'm fine, thank you. Here, this is what we have got up to paragraph 6 there. Now, number 7, the government claims that removing the park's untouchable status is necessary to provide basic services to the local communities. Now, when we get to paragraph 7, it's very clear what the lie was about. What the lie, mentioned in the title was about. The government gave the park the sort of untouchable status, but then removed it. That's what happened. Wait just a minute. Okay. Yeah, and then number 8, paragraph 8. However, locals claim that the survey was manipulated. The locals said that the survey was manipulated. Now, for those of you who do not know the word manipulated, doesn't really matter. The important thing is, however, local claim that the survey was manipulated. So the survey was not, you can say, was not reliable, was not real, was problematic in some ways. Okay, this is, what you can get from there, even if you don't know the word manipulated. Paragraph 9, some residents would accept a road through the park if it gave them greater access to the outside world, but the proposed route runs through the center of the park, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so one reason for allowing the building of the road or the highway through the park, okay, it could possibly give them greater access to the outside world, so they are better connected to the other places in the country. This is, one of the main reasons for building a road. Okay, but so this is another paragraph taking you through one of the reasons and people's opposition to such ideas. Paragraph 10, according to anthropologist Carl Bjork-James, the conflict boils down to the opposing viewpoints of different groups. If something boils down to something, it's the main reason for it. So what it means here is that it's a sort of a mini conclusion saying that, okay, ultimately, at the end of the day, what's the most important thing? The most important thing, or the main conflict, it's about the opposing viewpoints of different groups. And then paragraph 11, Solon feels that this could be a historic moment. It's not a very conclusive, or it's not a very a good summary of the whole passage, but it's sort of looking for a little bit, taking you beyond the text a little bit, or beyond the argument a little bit there. So just from this, okay, we know that if we're talking about what's in the park or what's in the area, maybe it's in the first few paragraphs there, or let's say paragraph 6. Paragraph 7, it's one reason why they say they have to build the road. Paragraph 8 is kind of like fighting back, a rebuttal. Paragraph 9, again, another reason for building the road, another possible rebuttal. Number 10 is a mini conclusion. And number 11, it's a kind of a moving forward, it's a kind of an addition to the whole argument there. So that's it for the first video. I'm just trying to show you, of course, if you read through the text yourselves silently, you don't have to take so much time. Okay, this is what I do to show you, okay, what goes through my mind when I read this text. Okay, so see you in the next